Hi, I'm Daniel Needs and welcome to Australia. I love living here. It's a fascinating country famous for its wildlife, its landscape, and of course, our warm, sunny climate. Australia is in the southern hemisphere. The country's name was taken from the Latin term Terra Australis, which means southern land. Aboriginal people came here from Asia thousands of years ago. The sea levels were lower then, so people could easily cross the ocean. For thousands of years, they were the only people living here, but today they are only a small part of the country's population. The first Europeans arrived in the 17th century, when the Dutch explorer Abel Tasman sailed here. In the 18th century, the British explorer Captain James Cook made Australia a British colony. At first, Britain used the country as a huge prison and many prisoners were sent here. But then a lot of other people from Britain and Ireland came here too. They bought farms and built houses. Today, Australia has a population of around 20 million, but you can still see the influence of the early British settlers. We speak English, we drive on the left, and we love tea and cricket. It's our national sport. But people from lots of other countries have moved here too. And today, Australia is a very multicultural country. Most Australians live near the coast, and the country's biggest cities are all next to the ocean. That's because the centre of Australia is very dry. I'm from Sydney, which is on the east coast. It's Australia's biggest city. It's got a huge harbour and is home to some of Australia's most famous tourist attractions, such as the Sydney Harbour Bridge and the Opera House. It's bigger than Melbourne, Australia's second city. Melbourne's got long, beautiful beaches, one of Australia's most famous cricket grounds, and the largest tram network in the world. But surprisingly, the capital of Australia isn't Melbourne or Sydney. In 1908, both cities wanted to be the capital, but nobody could decide between the two. So they invented a new city called Canberra. It's a small city, but all of Australia's government is here. About 80% of Australians live in cities like this, but some people do live in Central Australia. Australians call this part of the country the Outback. It's very dry and most of the area is desert. It's difficult, but some people do live here. There are mines and lots of huge sheep farms and cattle ranches. The Outback is also home to Uluru, one of the most famous symbols of Australia, and has got some of the most amazing wildlife in the world. Animals like the kangaroo, the koala, the platypus are all unique to Australia. This is because the continent of Australia broke away from the other continents millions of years ago. So different kinds of animals evolved here. Australia has also got some of the most dangerous animals in the world, like saltwater crocodiles, giant lizards, tiger snakes, and in the ocean around Australia, great white sharks and box jellyfish. Australia is a fascinating country for many different reasons. Its friendly people, beautiful scenery and unusual wildlife make it a brilliant place to visit and a fantastic place to live. Right, well I'm off to the beach. I'll see you guys later.
What do you know about Australia?
I know Australia is a hot country with various species such as koala bears and kangaroos, and I also know they're world renowned for their cricket.
I know quite a bit because I have family in Australia. I've been there once before on holiday and we went to Perth in Western Australia. It's a nice place and we visited my cousins and my great aunt.
I know they have poisonous spiders and snakes.
I know that Australia is a very hot country. It's also a very big country and there are not many people who live there. I also know that there are many dangerous animals there.
In Australia they have lots of different animals that we don't have here. It is also very hot and they have lots of deserts.
I know that it's in the southern hemisphere and that it has a very warm climate. I also know that its seasons are the opposite of ours.
I know about the wildlife with koalas, kangaroos, snakes and dangerous spiders. My granddad has also visited several times. He has taught me about Aborigines.
Not much at all. I know that it's in the southern hemisphere and I know that it is 10 hours ahead of England.
I don't really know much, but my cousins moved there recently and I know that it has many deserts called the Outback.